the parts of a higher plant can be divided into two groups. Group 1, vegetative parts, and Group 2, sexual reproductive parts. The vegetative parts include roots, stems, leaves, and vegetative buds. Sexual reproductive parts are those which are involved in the production of seed. They include flower buds, flowers, fruits, and seeds. All these parts are made up of specialized cells and tissues which perform specific function and which can be well studied through anatomy. The plant anatomy centers specifically on the structural arrangement of the dermal, ground, and vascular tissue systems within vegetative and reproductive organs, the patterning of tissue and cell types within these three systems, and the nature of individual specialized cell types. The study leads to a better understanding of how these organs are constructed and how they work for plants and fight plant diseases. The difference in their tissue patterning is of practical interest too, as it gives idea to the horticulturist to use certain herbicides which are specific to either monocots or dicot plants. For example, 2,4-D, an oxenic herbicide, selectively kill broadleaf weeds while leaving lawns, that is monocot grasses, intact. Hence, study of internal organization of plant organs hold great importance. In this module, we will study the anatomy of stem in dicot and monocot plants in detail. The stem is composed of three tissue systems that include the epidermis, vascular tissues, and ground tissues. The epidermis is a single layer of cells that make up the dermal tissue covering the stem and protecting the underlying tissue. Woody plants have an extra layer of protection on top of the epidermis made of cork cells known as bark. The vascular tissue of the stem consists of the complex tissues, xylem and phloem, which carry water and nutrients up and down the length of the stem and are arranged in distinct strands called vascular bundles. Ground tissue helps support the stem and is called pith when it is located towards the middle of the stem, and when it is between the vascular tissue and the epidermis, it is called as cortex. The tissue organization varies in the stem of monocotyledons and dicotyledons plants. Let us study about them in detail. The transverse section of dicot stem shows three distinct regions: epidermis, cortex, and stele. Epidermis. It is the outer protective coating. The epidermis consists of a single layer of cells. The cells are tubular in shape, closely arranged without intercellular spaces except where the stomata occur. The stomata break the continuity of the epidermis and facilitate gaseous exchange. Epidermal outgrowths in the form of hair and trichomes may also occur. The epidermal cells are living with a large central vacuole and peripheral cytoplasm. The cells are unevenly thickened. Commonly, the outer walls are thicker than the radial and inner tangential walls. The outer layers are covered by thin or thick layer of waxy cutin, which form a layer called cuticle. The epidermis forms a boundary between the plant and the external environment. It forms the first line of defense against physical damage and diseases. It serves several functions. It protects against water loss, regulates gas exchange, and secretes metabolic compounds. Cortex. The cortex in dicot stem is multi-layered. It is differentiated into three regions: the outer mechanical hypodermis, middle parenchymatous cortex, and an inner endodermis. Hypodermis. Hypodermis lies beneath the epidermis. It consists of mechanical tissue collenchyma, which is living, and their cell wall is made up of cellulose. It usually forms a continuous ring if the stem is round, or it is confined as patches in the corners of the stem if the stem is angular. The primary function of the hypodermis is to give mechanical strength to the young stem. Middle cortex. The cortex lies inner to the hypodermis. The cells are parenchymatous and are polygonal, round or oval in shape with intercellular spaces. The outer layers of middle cortex may contain chloroplast and are therefore called as chlorenchyma. The young green stem contains these layers of cells. The main function of middle cortex is mechanical protection, assimilation and storage. Endodermis. The endodermis is single layered and consists of barrel shaped cells closely arranged without intercellular spaces. The radial walls are suberized and starch grains may be present. The endodermis delimits the cortex from the stele. The cells may contain abundant starch grains and form a starch sheath. Casparian strips are clearly visible in the endodermis region. It is the deposition of lignin and suberin. Several dicot stem may not bear distinct endodermis. Stele. The stele is the region in the center of the stem, and the tissues which constitute the stele are the pericycle, the vascular tissue and the pith or medulla. Pericycle. The pericycle surrounds the vascular tissue and delimits the stele from the cortex. It is usually a few layers thick and is made up of parenchyma and or parenchyma with patches of sclerenchyma. The sclerenchyma may occur as isolated patches above each vascular bundle. The sclerenchyma may also be present in continuous ring as found in Aristolochia. The vascular tissue. In the young stem, the procambial strands formed in a ring differentiate the new complex tissues, xylem and phloem. The phloem is present outside and the xylem to the inside of the vascular bundle. The xylem and phloem are present one above the other on the same radius. Such vascular bundles are called as collateral. Such arrangement of vascular tissues constitute eustele. This is a characteristic feature of dicot stems because in monocot stems the vascular bundles are scattered in the ground tissue and such type of stele is known as atectostele. The differentiation of the primary xylem is centrifugal, that is the protoxylem is formed first towards the center of the stem and the metaxylem is formed later on towards the periphery. Such type of xylem is called as endarch. In the differentiation of procambium strand into a vascular bundle, all of its cells do not transform into phloem or xylem, but in between the phloem and xylem there remains a residual meristem. The residual meristem persisting inside the vascular bundle is called the intrafascicular cambium. Such a bundle with intrafascicular cambium is called as open vascular bundle and they are capable of secondary growth. This is a characteristic feature of dicot stem as in monocot stem due to absence of intrafascicular cambium, secondary growth is not observed. The phloem of the vascular bundle consists of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and fibers. The phloem is chiefly concerned with the conduction of food materials from the leaf to the other parts of the plant. The xylem of each bundle consists of xylem vessels or trachea, tracheids, xylem parenchyma or wood parenchyma and fibers. The xylem is chiefly concerned with the conduction of water upward from roots to different parts of the plant. pith or medulla. In all the stems of dicotyledons in which the vascular bundles occur arranged in a ring towards the center of the stem within the vascular ring, there is a parenchymatous region, the pith or medulla. The pith is devoid of chlorophyll in the mature state but may possess starch forming leucoplasts. The outer part of the pith gets distinct from the bulk of the pith in having sometimes smaller cells with thick walls. In dicot stem, masses of parenchyma extend from pith to the pericycle between the vascular bundles. These masses of parenchyma appear as extension of pith and are known as pith rays or medullary rays. The medullary ray functions to conduct the food materials in a radial direction across the stem. The function of the pith is to store food material. Now let us study about the anatomical features of monocot stem. The transverse sections of monocot stem show three distinct regions: epidermis, ground tissue and vascular tissue. Epidermis. The epidermis is the surface layer made of living cells with chloroplasts closely fitting with stomata at intervals. Ground tissue. Ground tissue occupies the region just below the epidermis to the center of the stem. It is parenchymatous and embeds the vascular bundles. Ground tissue is not differentiated into cortex and pith. The outer layers of the ground tissue beneath the epidermis constitute the hypodermis, which is made up of sclerenchyma cells. The function of the hypodermis is to give mechanical strength to the stem. Distinct endodermis and pericycle is absent in monocot stem. Vascular tissue. The vascular tissue is characteristic differentiating feature from dicot stem. The vascular tissue is broken up into a large number of bundles which are scattered and embedded in the ground tissue. Each vascular bundle is oval in shape, collateral, endarc and closed. That means intravascular cambium is not found between phloem and xylem tissue. Each vascular bundle is surrounded by a bundle sheath. The bundle sheath is made up of tightly packed cells, usually parenchyma, arranged into sheaths around vascular bundle. They form a protective covering around vascular bundles. The xylem is simple in structure and consists of only 4 vessels, 2 metaxylem vessels which are pitted vessels and 2 protoxylem vessels, out of which one is annular and other is a spiral vessel arranged in the form of letter V. The position of metaxylem vessels are at the tips of the arms of V and the 2 protoxylem vessels at the apex of the V. Usually in certain types of grass stems as the maize, one of the protoxylem vessels may get ruptured due to the rapid elongation of the young stem to form a lacuna called as lysigenous cavity. It is filled with water. The phloem is situated in between the arms of V and it consists of sieve tubes with companion cells. There is no phloem parenchyma found in monocot stems. Difference between dicot stem and monocot stem. In dicot stem, hypodermis is made up of collenchymatous cells, whereas in monocot stem, it is made up of sclerenchymatous cells. The ground tissue is differentiated into cortex, endodermis, pericycle and pith in dicot stem, whereas in monocot stem, it is not differentiated but it is a continuous mass of parenchyma. In dicot stem, starch sheath is present, whereas it is absent in monocot stem. The pith is present in dicot stem but is absent in monocot stem. In dicot stem, pericycle is present, whereas it is absent in monocot stem. The medullary rays are present in dicots, whereas they are absent in monocots. In dicot stems, the vascular bundles are open, whereas they are closed in monocot stem. The vascular bundles are arranged in a ring in dicots, whereas they are scattered in the ground tissue in monocot stem. The protoxylem lacuna is absent in dicots, whereas a protoxylem lacuna is present in monocot stem. Phloem parenchyma is present in dicot stem, whereas it is not found in monocot stem. The plants follow the basic pattern of growth. They germinate from seed, they develop tissues, they photosynthesize, store food material and remain limited to these functions. This type of growth is called as primary growth. Their growth habit limits them to herbaceous style and such plants are called herbs. They remain soft, small and flexible and die completely after one growing season. But some plants go beyond these basic functions and perform secondary growth, which leads them to grow not even in length but also in girth. These are shrubs, lianas and of course trees. This type of secondary growth initiates in stem and the module is dedicated to stem anatomy. Therefore, it is required to study and have an idea about the secondary growth in plants. The secondary growth is achieved by the activity of meristematic tissues present laterally in the vascular bundle between phloem and xylem. These meristematic tissues are called as cambium and cork cambium. The cambium forms secondary tissues in the stellar region and cork cambium form secondary tissues in the cortical regions. Secondary growth occurs only in dicot stem and root. It is usually absent in monocot root and stem. The first step of secondary growth is the formation of the cambium ring. The cambium of vascular bundles become meristematic. At the same time, some of the medullary ray cells lying at the level of cambium also become meristematic and form a strip of interfascicular cambium together with the intrafascicular cambium, forming a complete circular ring called as cambium ring. The cambium ring forms the secondary tissues in the stellar region. In the next step, this cambium ring cuts off new cells both on outer and inner sides. The new cells formed on the outer side gradually modify into the elements of secondary phloem, and the cells formed on the inner side gradually modify into secondary xylem. The cambium ring forms more tissues on the inner side than on the outer side. As a result, secondary xylem forms the main bulk of the plant body and is generally called the wood. Early wood and late wood. The activity of vascular cambium is greatly affected by the variations in the climate. In the spring season or early summer, the cambium becomes more active and produces a large number of vessels with wider lumen. These are called spring wood or early wood. During the autumn or winter season, the cambium becomes less active and produces vessels with narrow lumens. Tracheids and wood fibers are formed in large numbers. These woods are called autumn wood or late wood. Hence, the annual rings are formed year after year. Annual rings. In the oldest part of the tree, annual rings can be used in determining the age of a tree. The determination of the age of a tree by counting the annual rings is called dendrochronology. With the help of dendrochronology, the section taken at the base of the trunk of American sequoia dendron revealed the tree was about 3000 years old. However, in tropical regions, the climate is more or less uniform. Therefore, the annual rings are not well developed and do not correlate with the age of tree. Sapwood and heartwood. In older stems, due to such type of growth, the woody trunk is found differentiated into two regions. The outer light colored region is called sapwood or alburnum, and the central dark colored region is called heartwood or duramen. The cells of sapwood are living and functional. They take part in conduction of water and storage of food. The heartwood consists of dead cells. It is stronger and more durable than sapwood and is found resistant to the attacks of bacteria and fungi due to the presence of antiseptic oils. Formation of bark. Along with the development of secondary tissue in vascular system, a few layers of meristematic tissue become active in the cortex region. This is called cork cambium. The cells of the cork cambium cut off cells on both the sides. Those formed on the outer sides become suberized and constitute cork or phellem. The cells that are cut off on the inner side of the cork cambium are parenchymatous, and this constitute phelloderm or secondary cortex. The cork that is phellem, cork cambium phellogen, and the secondary cortex that is phelloderm are together called periderm. All the tissues outside the vascular cambium, that is secondary phloem, cortex, and the periderm are together called bark. Significance of secondary growth. Secondary growth allows woody plants to grow very tall and strong. Secondary growth adds girth to the plant. It provides support to increasing weight of the aerial growth. It produces a corky bark around the tree trunk that protects the interior parts from abrasion, heat, cold, and infection. It adds new conducting tissues for replacing old non-functioning ones, as well as for meeting increased demand for long distance transport of sap and organic nutrients. The stem is composed of three types of tissue systems: the epidermis, ground tissues, and vascular tissue system. The epidermis covers the outer surface of the stem and usually functions to waterproof, protect, and control gaseous exchange. The ground tissue consists mainly of parenchyma cells and fills in around the vascular tissue. It sometimes functions in photosynthesis. The vascular tissue of the stem consists of the complex tissues xylem and phloem, which carry water and nutrients up and down the length of the stem and are arranged in distinct strands called vascular bundles. The tissue organization varies in the stem of dicot and monocot plants. This variation provides distinct growth to dicots as compared to monocot plants. The dicot plants show secondary growth, which causes the stems to thicken and also provides support to increasing weight of the aerial growth, whereas monocot plants remain limited to primary growth only.